If you have visited Shanghai, Beijing, and Zhangjiajie, I would highly recommend Yunnan as your next China destination. Yunnan is a province in southwestern China. It is the most diverse Chinese province in terms of landscapes, ethnic minority culture, and ancient towns. I spent more than 2 weeks in Yunnan, going from Kunming, Dali, Lijiang, Tiger Leaping Gorge, and Shangrila. I would recommend making Shangrila as the last stop to reduce the chance of altitude sickness due to its highest elevation. I took a high-speed train from Lijiang to Shangrila. The journey of 115 kilometers took about 1.5 hours, which is quite slow. Even though it is a high-speed train, the operating speed between Lijiang and Shangrila is reduced for safety reasons. This is because about 70% of the journey goes through tunnels and bridges over mountainous terrain. I will be staying within Dukezong ancient town, and it is located 7.7 km west of Shangrila train station. I took a DD taxi from the station, which took 12 minutes to bring me to the north gate. For the first day, I would recommend visiting Songzanlin Monastery and then spending the rest of the day exploring Dukezong ancient town. Songzanlin Monastery is located 4.1 km north of Dukezong. I took a DD taxi from the north gate, and it takes roughly 11 minutes to reach the visitor center. There I paid renminbi 90, which consists of entrance ticket renminbi 55, shuttle bus renminbi 20, and guide service renminbi 15. I'm not sure if you can skip paying for the guide as it is in Chinese language only. It takes the shuttle bus 10 minutes to reach the actual monastery site. Keep the tickets as you will need it to access the lake area as well as the shuttle bus back to visitor center. You can see here the guided group, which I didn't follow due to not understanding Chinese. Start the exploration by climbing up the 146 stairs to reach the main complex. Songzanlin Monastery is going to be the highlight of any trip to Shangrila. It is also known as Songzanlin Monastery, and it belongs to the Yellow Hat sect of Tibetan Buddhism, also sometimes called the Little Potala Palace, with its namesake located in Lhasa, Tibet. This beautiful Tibetan Buddhist monastery was built in 1679 and is the largest in Yunnan, housing 700 monks. Once you reach the top of the stairs, there are several multi-level buildings that house prayer halls. There are no photos allowed inside, so I can only show a small portion of it, mostly the stairs and walkways. And even here you can see the magnificent frescoes depicting Tibetan-style Buddhist art. The Buddhist statues will look noticeably different from those you see elsewhere in China. Continue on until you reach the top. At the top, at an altitude of approximately 3,380 meters, you can get a closer look at the intricate golden-colored Tibetan roof architecture while having a view of Lamu Yangchuo Lake located in front of the monastery, the surrounding monastery village, and snow-capped mountain ranges. After exploring the main building, there are a few other smaller buildings that you can explore as well. Unlike the often symmetrical courtyard-focused layout of Chinese temples, Songzanlin offers a very different visual experience with its steep hillside complex, intricate Tibetan Buddhism murals, and colorful prayer rites. Once you walk out Songzanlin complex, there is an elevated platform area just opposite the road. Here you can take good pictures of the whole monastery complex without having to spend much time and effort. However, if you are like me wanting to take the best photos of Songzanlin Monastery complex with its reflection on the Lamu Yangchuo Lake, you can walk to the opposite side of the lake, but it takes 15 minutes to complete the 2.1 kilometers circle. Just walk following built-up walking path along the shore of the lake until you reach directly opposite Songzanlin. There are these helpful signboards that says best photo spot in Chinese. The sun is strong due to the high elevation, so do wear sunscreen and a hat. Overall, plan for 2.5 hours for the monastery starting from Dukezong and add another 50 minutes if you want to walk around the lake. After that, take the 10-minute shuttle bus back to the visitor center and get a DD taxi back to Dukezong ancient town, which takes about another 12 minutes. There aren't too many must-visit spots in Dukezong ancient town, and it is also smaller than Lijiang and Dali ancient towns. Just take note of these spots in the map. I stayed in a small hotel near the North Gate. I don't usually recommend hotels, but I would recommend this one. It is named Yan Lu Oxygen Hotel. It only costs 200 renminbi during my visit. Has heated flooring and bed which are necessary during my early December trip. Also has an oxygen device. The hotel has its own bookstore but mostly Chinese books. Dukezong ancient town is mostly inhabited by ethnic Tibetans and has existed for 1,300 years, but there was a huge fire in 2014 that destroyed 2/3 of the town. What you see today are mostly reconstructions, but they are rebuilding in its original architectural style. Shangrila city was originally called Zhongdian up until 2001. Its name was officially changed that year to Shangrila to match the mythical place in James Holden novel Lost Horizon. It's a marketing move to attract tourists. The only notable place that you need to visit while in Dukezong is Guishan Park. Established in early 1700s during Kangxi era, it is located at the center of the ancient town in front of a large square called Moon Square. You will need to register online for entry to Guishan Park. This can be done on the spot by following the instruction board in English. Note that you can only register one entry per day per person. The park is built onto a small hill and the climb up involves about 200 steps of stairs. There is a small Chinese temple halfway up, and at the top there is the 3-story high Chaoyang Tower and the 5-story high Big Buddha temple. Since no pictures are allowed inside, I can't show how they look like. Shown here is just how the outside of the temple looks like. Since this is the highest point in Dukezong ancient town, you can get a good view of the town from here, together with the snow-capped mountains in the distance. Just beside the temple is a huge prayer view. It used to be considered the largest prayer view in the world until a bigger one was created in Vietnam in 2023. This one at Guishan Park is 21 meters high, weight around 16 tons. It is made from copper and plated with gold. Since it is so heavy, you will need a dozen people to spin it. Here are some views of Guishan Park during night when buildings and prayer views are lighted up. As you can only enter the park once a day, do decide whether you want to visit during the daytime or nighttime. Located at Moon Square are also the Deqing Red Army Long March Museum and Deqing Museum. Even though I could enter the Deqing Red Army Long March Museum area, the museum itself is closed. Only the temple within it is open. And similarly, Deqing Museum is also closed. So I do not know if they will be worth your time to visit during your time here. During nighttime around 8 p.m., the Moon Square in front of Guishan Park is a popular place for live stream performers and traditional dance. The street performers are mostly singing Chinese songs. There are half a dozen different groups performing, and since all of them are using really loud speakers, it can be quite noisy. Sifang Square that I previously indicated in my map is just an empty square surrounded by shops in the morning, but it has a lively traditional dance at night. and I prefer to watch the one here than at Moon Square. Other than this, I would recommend just walk around the streets of Dukezong. I stumbled upon two different Tibetans to pass that you may want to look out for. The souvenirs and snacks shown here are also different than those in Lijiang and Dali. For example, the yak-based clothing and snacks, prayer beads and views. Yak is a long-haired cattle specific to Himalayan region. While here, I would recommend trying out yak rib stew and yak meat stir fry with mushroom. Both are quite tasty. Since these are Tibetan dishes, they are more commonly found in Shangrila city. There are also more Western type restaurants here, such as those selling pizza and pastry. Do watch the end section of my Lijiang video to see what are the famous Yunnan food to try. In total, I would recommend allocate 5 or 6 hours for Dukezong. For the second day, I recommend visiting Potatso National Park, located 25 kilometers from Dukezong ancient town. It is difficult to get DD taxi back due to its secluded location. So I would recommend buying return bus tickets as well as the park entrance tickets with this bus company. They have sales offices just beside the North Gate at Moon Square as well as the departure point a bit further past East Gate. Just look out for their unique yellow yak logo. From Moon Square, walk about 100 meters east from Dukezong Museum and you will see this place called Moonlit Lane. Don't go into the area. You will see Pizza Hut, KFC and Miniso stores at its front. Just follow the road that runs alongside them towards East Gate. Walk a bit further past East Gate and you will see the shuttle bus departure location. You can buy tickets here as well, but the offices at North Gate and Moon Square are more convenient locations. While you walk to the bus departure area, you will pass by 3 or 4 halal restaurants. So this area of town will be a good place for Muslim tourists to find food. It will take about 30 minutes for the bus to go from Dukezong ancient town to Potatso National Park Visitor Center. For return time, you can return earlier than your chosen bus time slot as long as there are empty seats on the bus. Typical route is hiking at Sutu Lake, stop at Militang Pasture Viewpoint and hiking at Pita Lake. However, Militang Pasture was closed during my visit and the visitors hike Sutugang River instead. Visitors will use the free shuttle bus to move within the Potatso National Park. The first location is Sutugang River, where I hike along a fairly flat and paved 2.2 km route. It will take roughly 50 minutes from the starting point to reach the end, where you will reach another bus stop. As the name suggests, most of the route runs alongside a river. The whole park covers an area of approximately 1,300 square kilometers, and it is situated at high elevation 3,500 meters up to over 4,150 meters. It wouldn't compare to the beauty and uniqueness of Jiangjiajie or Jiuzhaigou, but I think it is still a relaxing walk in beautiful nature. Once you reach the bus stop, wait for the next incoming bus and it will bring you to the starting point of Sutu Lake after about 10 minutes ride. There is a convenience store here if you need some food or drinks before you start the hike. The hiking path is 3.3 kilometers long and it will take roughly 1.5 hours to reach the end. You can opt for a boat ride instead if you do not want to hike. However, I think the view wouldn't be as good as doing the hike. Most of the route runs alongside the lake, but this time the paths are easy to walk wooden planks. You will pass by 2 coffee shops, some tiny snack stores, and even an optional treetop adventure course, but it requires additional payment. The second coffee shop is called Squirrel Coffee, and yes, there are actual wild squirrels outside. I consider the scenery here at Sutu Lake to be the most beautiful within the park. And it is a peaceful walk along the lake shore surrounded by rolling hills covered with forest. At the end, you will reach another bus stop. Normally, it brings you to Militang Pasture, but since it was closed, it brings me to Bita Lake, passing by previous Sudokang River and the visitor center along the way. The ride took about 25 minutes. The hike here is 1.2 kilometers, but you have to return the same way. So in total, the hike is 2.4 kilometers long and will take about 45 minutes. The path is similar to Sudu Lake, where there are built up wooden planks. An alternative to visiting Potatso National Park are Napahai Nature Reserve or Balagajong Grand Canyon. But from the reviews I read, Potatso National Park is the most beautiful among the three places. The visit ends by taking the shuttle bus back to Visitor Center and catch the yellow bus back to Dukezong Ancient Town. I would recommend allocate at least 5.5 to 6 hours for the visit. Likely you will reach Dukezong by 3 or 4 p.m. Lastly, I list out the cost of the activities and transportation for reference. Do pause if you like to have a look. If you have more days in Shangrila, you can also visit Napahai Nature Reserve and Balagajong Grand Canyon. Hope this information helps for your trip to Yunnan. A reminder to help like and subscribe to my channel for future videos.